Okay. Uh, I am a black conservative, and I've voted for the last over 10 years for conservative party. And I'm I'm pretty much comfortable. Listen, I am a MAGA. That's right. Proud, and I am MAGA because I love my country. My dad is prior military. I got other family members who were in the military, and much love to them and much respect. Um, I also work in public service, and I have worked for the state before. And my situation is this: today, I was watching church service a little bit, going in and out, doing some other things. But I was watching in my church, my home church. I'm very, very, very angry. Not angry, disappointed. Yes. Uh, my church is in. I'm in Baltimore. My church is in Baltimore, and they just had a change in leadership where the father did leave the church, and his son uh, became the pastor. So the father was very democratic, let's put it that way. He ate the Democratic line, hook, line, sinker. Okay, and then you know I try to stay apolitical. Um, just follow the Lord, follow the teachings, that kind of thing. Not trying to hurt anybody, nothing like that. You believe what you want to believe. I follow the Lord, and then we get into the new pastor, and he's younger than the old pastor, and he brought a lot more people in. But what got me pissed off was that during the presidential election, this man going to go up there and preach to his sermon and preach to the congregation that we should support Kamala Harris because she's a black woman. I looked at him. I said, "You got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me!" And those are the same talking points of the Democratic Party. I was not happy with that. I was pissed because I don't need him to tell me who to vote for. I don't need you, okay? You have a job, I have a job, okay? If you want to vote for Kamala, fine, okay? But don't bring that stuff up in here, okay? If you want to have a sermon and just call it down, kind of even for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, you know, okay. You can do plus minus, okay. They both have the positive, both have the negatives, okay. You decide what you need to do according to what God's law is. Then today, this fool, I'm gonna call him a fool because it's better than calling him. An, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But I was disappointed in him again. And his sermon talked about everything that the Democratic Party was against. Okay, talking about immigration, talking about the big beautiful bill, talking about how this big beautiful bill is going to be nothing for the poor, for disenfranchised, and for people who are going to be hurt by this bill, and that all the rich people are going to get hurt. Well, he can consider himself rich because I know he's making more than minimum wage up in that place. So you can tell me say that because because of this new bill, the rich people are going to get money, are going to have more prosperous than the poor people and the people who are disenfranchised. But you're getting paid in this big old building, and it has a lot of members. So I know you get more than six figures, maybe even seven figures, and you're gonna come over here and talk that garbage about that. I was not having it. Okay, because those are the same talking points that the Democratic Party has been saying for the last 6 months since Donald Trump came into office, and I was not going to stand for it anymore. No, no, no. Um, he really got under my skin, and I'm not going to support that. I'm gonna go to another church where everybody's down the line, and we're gonna follow the Lord's teaching instead of following the Democratic Party and all that craziness. He didn't know that the Democratic Party was responsible for the KKK and all this other stuff. For the last 4 years, we had all this rigmarole. We had all these uh, illegals coming here, using all of our services, and they provided nothing. Okay, and he's gonna talk about the immigrants help us. They don't. The Lord says, if you don't work, you don't eat, and He's right about that. I mean, these people come over here and they want everything on a silver platter. No, 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 that's not how it works. That's not how it's supposed to be. And I had it up to here. Then he was talking about the big beautiful bill and how the seniors are going to be harmed by this because people are going to be kicked off Medicare, and that the seniors are going to get a tax break, and all the money's going to the rich. That's just the same stuff that the Democratic Party's been saying for years, and the rich people are mostly Democrats anyway. Where do you think we got all those stars? They worth billions, millions, okay? And for myself, Donald Trump's economy has made a difference, believe me. And I follow, I follow economics much more closely than I had in the last 10 years or in the last 20 years. And, and I can tell you definitely the economy has improved. Okay. I have my mortgage paperwork right here. Okay. In the last 6 months, my mortgage payment has dropped by over $20, and it keeps dropping. Donald Trump has gotten a lot more companies to come here, and they're spending money. The economy is shooting up, and inflation is completely down, as opposed to what the Democratic, who supposedly was supposed to be Joe Biden, but it wasn't Joe Biden. Somebody else was running the place, and they just jacked up everything. Eggs were fucking. I'm sorry. Eggs were $10. Okay, I just came from Costco today. I can get 18 eggs for under $3. Okay, you have $10. You have $3. Which one do you want to pay for? So, Donald Trump has done a lot for this country and got this country back on track. Got rid of all these quote immigrants. I'm not gonna call them immigrants. They're illegals. They don't belong here. They crossed the border like it wasn't nothing, and they're gonna come over here and use all of our services. Tax the taxes go way up here in the state of Maryland. We have a tax deficit because the government, thank you, Governor Pay More, they have a a tax shortfall, and they just increased taxes by some plots 100%. Taxes and fees have gone up in the state of Maryland. The Republican who was in charge, although I didn't like him, he left. When he left a $5 billion surplus, and Governor Pay More came in, and guess what? Ain't no more surplus. We in the negative by I think $10 billion. So that's why the state is increasing everything on fees and taxes, stuff like that. These Democrats are they just incompetent fools, and I'm gonna call it like that, fools. So I just don't like what they're doing. So anyway, I'm gonna go. I gotta go to work. Okay, you guys take care. I'm out.